that moment when you realize you have mastered your wellness. When you've become so resilient, you can conquer any hiccup life throws you. Yeah, well, me either. But I still ride unicorns. I'll teach you how to become a mindset master. You will learn how your habits and behavior affect your success in nutrition, exercise, relationships, organization, and so much more. It's your reality, and you need to do it your way. Self-care and self-love are anything but selfish. Take charge, get excited. If not now, then when? Grab your espresso and get ready to talk all things wellness. It's time for Coach, Couch, and Coffee Radio with Coach Peggy Wellness right now. Hey, everybody. Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited today. Happy Monday. Happy Monday because it's almost over, maybe. I don't know for you. This is Coach Peggy, Coach, Couch, and Coffee Radio, and I am so stoked for today's show. I'm going to try to act like I'm not on a pot of coffee. Okay, so today's guest, first of all, I always bring my unicorn mug today just because of Miss Stephanie, who I know loves horses. I brought my Be a Unicorn in a Field of Horses mug. So did you bring your little coffee mug for here on Coffee Time?
I did.
You did, and you brought your beautiful rings on your finger that I just had to notice just because. I wore red for you, Stephanie.
Thank
Red
you.
feather.
I so love that.
I love it too. So listen, you guys, today's subject is about a book, The Evolutionary Empath. I've got Reverend Stephanie Redfeather here, brilliant lady. But what I want to tell you about is I love empaths, but I worry about my empaths, and I sometimes am an empath too. But lots of my clients, I have to work with them on their abilities and how to protect themselves and all of that stuff. And we don't take care of ourselves enough, nonetheless, if you're an empath. So this subject, I'm just going to show you. Peeps, I marked the heck out of this bad boy. And I haven't read a book this fast since The Afterlife of Billy Finger. I don't know if you've read that, but I read that. I think this book is an amazing read. So let me just tell you about this beautiful lady first. So first of all, her book was just released on November 5th. And within like 24 hours, it went to number 1 on Amazon in her category, Shut the Front Door. I know I just aged myself with that, but it is amazing. And it's her life work. And she is an ordained shamanic minister. I just love that. She holds a bachelor's degree. This isn't going to make sense to you. She holds a bachelor's degree in applied mathematics and a master's and doctorate degree in shamanic studies from Venus Rising University. She's also a Mesa carrier in the Pachacuti Mesa traditions of Peru. Did I do okay?
You did.
Yay. And she studied with Don Oscar Miro Quesada. See, I even tried to, I'm like, oh, okay. And she also, bear with me, 10 years in the military. We're going to wrap this around. You're going, is this the same gal? There's one girl on the show. Okay. And then she also is the founder of Blue Star Temple, which we're going to chat with you about that and what she has to offer there towards the tail of the show. So Stephanie, welcome. Honor to have you here, my love.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Are you good?
Yes.
I know as you know, I've been watching you, taking care of you the last couple of weeks, and you were not feeling very well. And this book came to you, let your baby go, your little bird's flying, and then you got sick, and then the baby bird went. But you're feeling better.
I am, for the most part. I still have a little tickle, but I'm doing much better.
My little empath is feeling better. So, hey, I think the best way to start this show, before we even explain what an empath is and what we're going to do about it, I really would like to see if you could just start us off with your story in a non-confusing
in a small
way.
Nutshell.
And make us feel like we've not gone crazy. But it is going to all tie together, and it's hard because we don't want to give a bunch away, because in the middle of all this, you have all of your self-discovery. So take it away and let us know a little bit about you.
Yeah. I was a very creative and intuitive child. I was a little empath before I knew what that was. My mom said that I could always tell when other people were unhappy or having a bad day. And so I would instinctively, hug them or curl up in their lap or somehow reach out to try to make them feel better, which I still do today, minus the lap part.
I was
I
gonna say,
don't, you know, I
just
don't
in
go
case we run into each other in the airport, I just want to make
fall
sure.
into your lap. So, but I was very sensitive. I went to a creative and performing arts school. So for those of you that remember the TV show Fame, I went to a school like that. And then fast forward a few years and I get a math degree and go into the Air Force. So, that part of my life is very much like, which one of these is not like the other, And
Running into your empath world or from is where really your story really does show a beautiful example of how this can roll out for
yeah.
an average
And
person.
and in all of there is my parents' divorce at age 8, and then me choosing to move in with my dad and stepmom for high school, which is where things really, where my nature started to hide. And in hindsight, the way I describe it when I look back is, our empathic qualities really peg the feminine side of the house, the feminine qualities and aspects. And so as I started coming into puberty and my teenage years, and I just moved in with my dad and stepmom, and by the way, my stepmom and I fought all the time and had karma, and so it was a very abusive relationship, emotionally, mentally abusive. Um, and so the way I describe it is that my masculine came in and said, I'll save you, to the best of his ability, being 13, at the time, and
Right.
took my feminine and put her in a box and put her away. And in my high school years, you can chart the feminine going down and the masculine going up. And by the end of it, I'm trying out for the Air Force Academy and choosing to get a degree in mathematics and going to an engineering school and becoming an Air Force officer.
I can picture you during PT. You're like, you got your rucksack, or you're doing your push-ups, and you're like, I just love everyone around me. And I want to talk about their struggles. Can I carry your backpack?
Honest to God, in one of our assignments, I went through Air Force ROTC, and we had to practice briefing. And people are briefing about military aircraft and strategies and war and this and that. And I ended up talking about, it was something more like communication skills or something a little more psychology, because that was as close as I could get to what felt comfortable
Oh,
to me.
can I fix you and make you feel better while I ignore my own needs? Oh my gosh. So first of all, can I ask you something that's a little off road? And I hadn't
Of
asked you if I
course.
can. Where the red feather name?
Hmm.
So did that come from working with Oscar?
It didn't, not directly, but he created a program where some of the elders in the community, he passed the mantle of teaching on to some sanctioned teachers. And so there was a couple here in Kansas City that were mentors of mine, and I was receiving a healing session with Gary, the man of the couple. And I'm standing on a buffalo hide. He's taking me through some stuff, and all of a sudden I'm having a vision. And part of that vision is I see a native person, but with a full headdress, but all of the feathers are red. And it just occurred to me, I'm like, I think I'm being given a name. I'm like, Gary, this is what I'm seeing. And he confirmed it all. And we did ceremony to anchor that name. So in spiritual circles, that was the name I went by for a while. And then when I got married in 2011, I took it on as my legal last name.
That's fantastic. Okay, good. I was hoping that you'd be okay with me asking
Oh, of
without asking
course.
before asking. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's a
yeah.
fantastic. So how did you go through the thing that sticks out to me the most is, as our listeners and viewers are out there, is I really want to get through the how you felt to the you're not crazy. Like that bump there, because I want our listeners to really hear and get into the meat of this. I did tell you before, I want you back on the show, you guys who are listening. This subject is so meaningful and deep, and I know you'll resonate with it, that I'm going to have Stephanie back the first part of the year when she launches her audio books to this. So that's going to be fantastic. So today, I want you to listen to what she is saying in regards to what an empath is. Are there any signals or signs that you have or anyone around you? And just sit in that fact that, I might not be crazy and they might not either.
Hmm.
So start with that, my
Yeah.
love. Woo!
So what I want to say is, when I started to write this book, my spirit guides only gave me one directive, and that was create a definition. To which I promptly went, okay, sure, yeah, no pressure, all right.
Wow.
But I did. And so in common vernacular, the word empath has been around for, a few decades. In general, the sort of daily common definition is a highly sensitive person.
Okay.
But there's so much more to it than that. And I spend 2 entire chapters in my book defining what an empath is, multiple aspects of it. And I distill it down into a paragraph. Like, I couldn't make it any shorter than that, because the definition needed to include everything that it
Right.
did. And what I'm getting to is, there is no one size fits all definition. There are 5 qualities that I identified, and people are going to express some of them strongly and maybe others not so much. So they're all on a sliding scale. And for some people, if their coping mechanisms cause them to repress all of this, they may read this list and go, you're crazy. This is not me at
Absolutely.
all, because they're so disconnected from that part of themselves that they don't even recognize that.
Their
So
masculine self is in the house.
yeah, for sure. So do you want me to
Oh,
cover
I
them?
would
Do we have
love 5.
time for the
Oh,
5? Okay.
please. Yes, I'd love to hear them.
So this is not the entire definition, but this is a big chunk of it, and it's going to give people real access to comparing it to their own life experiences.
Yes.
So the first quality is, we have a very strong ability to merge with and absorb the energies of other life forms. So not just humans, but animals, plants, Mother Earth, anything that's sentient. And this stems from our very open energy field. The second quality is that we have a highly sensitive nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, by definition, nervous systems are sensitive, but it's kind of like we got a 2-for-1 special.
Right. Right.
And so it makes it easy for us to get overstimulated and overwhelmed. And it really requires radical self-care, not just self-care, radical self-care, to be able to manage all of that. The third quality is that we have the ability to perceive subtle energies, the unseen realms, information stored in the energy field of other beings. And so this is what predisposes us to having wicked intuition, sometimes having premonitions, seeing the dead, accessing the Akashic records, working with clients and just knowing what somebody's feeling, so just on and on and on, astral traveling and shamanic journeying, and all of these sorts of access to other dimensions and other worlds and subtle energies. The fourth quality is that we place a premium on peace and harmony.
Mm-hmm.
And that's peace and harmony in our own self, in our relationships, and in our environment. So when we're unconscious of this aspect, we tend to put our own needs last because we don't want to rock the boat. We want to keep the status quo. This can also, like in our environment, I know for me, I'm constantly tweaking stuff, because everything has an energy field, and it's like, oh, no, the tweak,
I have a really close person in my life who's a strong empath, who inherited it from my lovely grandmother, who has since passed on. But I call it the I'm fine. So it's just those words that are hidden behind just suppressing everything. So I resonated with that. Instead of shifting and doing things to settle, it's I'm fine. Just complete disconnect.
Right.
Okay. And then you got number 5.
And number 5 is our big open hearts and a desire to be of service. And so many of us are led to professions of service. So much of my tribe are massage therapists and energy healers and nurses and hospice workers and therapists and all of that kind of stuff. But if we're not conscious of it, this is the aspect that will cause us to put everybody else first and put ourselves last, and overgive until there's nothing left in the tank. And there's also underneath all of that, and I go more into the book about this programming of service equals sacrifice.
Exactly. I know. And that's where I connected to how, we always say nurses take poorly care of themselves, and the physician, really the love language of acts of service, all sit in that bucket that you just said. And in my world, I say self-care so much. And it's one of those concepts I cannot embed or throw at people enough. So as an empath, that destructive physical, that manifestation of just even having those abilities, and then all of a sudden you're in a giving, the takedown's got to be,
Hmm.
you've probably had that happen a million
Yes.
times.
Yes, and especially getting older, and facing my
Hmm.
limitations and that sort of thing. I think part of being young is our recovery time is faster, and we can
Hmm.
really deplete ourselves, and the next day we're like, whoa, so I mean, I have been like a high energy, high intensity person for a long time. And so the last several years, my body has said, sit your bleep down
Yes.
and deal with some of your limitations. And so self-care has blossomed into multiple layers. And I've gotten a lot of new tools and visualizations and mindsets for managing that in myself and helping other people manage
That's exciting. That's why when you come back in January after the new year, I think it would be so amazing for us to really focus on to radically deal with self-care. And so we can just dive deeper
Yeah.
into that first part of the year. That'd be amazing. So do you think, are we born an empath? Do we come back wanting to be an empath? Tell me your
Yeah,
beliefs and
in
philosophies on
in
that.
my belief system, we are making decisions when we're in spirit form about what the major movements are, the major components of the life we're getting ready to incarnate into. And so one of the pieces of my definition, and I haven't really seen anybody else talk about this or highlight this aspect, is that being an empath is a choice we made at a soul level. And it's because there is great significance to being an empath. We're not an anomaly.
Right.
There are more and more of us that are incarnating every day, and we are here because it's time. And
That's what
humanity.
you were saying, is that it is time. So it's not just that we're learning more about it and speaking more openly. I mean, it's essential. It's time.
Yeah, yeah. And we are in a process of ascension in consciousness. And I believe that empaths are here with the express cosmic mission of helping humanity ascend to the next level of consciousness, because we come in with a different energetic physiology. We come in
Hmm.
with slightly different values and perceptions. We are what we are evolving towards. And all of us who are here collectively right now are the empathic Big Bang. And in the movie
I love
Moneyball,
that.
they have the quote, "The first guy through the wall always gets bloody." And so collectively, all of us who are
Hmm.
here right now are the first ones through the wall getting
Getting
bloody.
bloody. Yeah, that's
So
right.
so the empaths that are here right now are especially courageous souls, knowing that they're coming in the first wave, being the front runners.
And and sticking together and being as transparent as possible. I think about the younger empaths, of which obviously you were, and not knowing what it was or how to name it or anything like that. How did it affect, or how would you say, let's just throw it to an empath that's out there listening. How can they know how it's affecting their relationships, even personally or professionally? And is there a tip you would give them today if they go, whoa, I think I'm an empath and I'm in a
Hmm.
relationship that blank? What would be your
Yeah.
dart you'd throw?
Just because this is the way things are, when we don't know we're an empath, we are an unconscious empath, which means
Hmm.
we're probably living from the shadow aspects of these five qualities, which usually include things like codependence,
Yeah.
not knowing where you end and the next person begins, losing yourself in relationship, having no sense of yourself, not knowing who you are, because our gift is to merge with another. What that means is that it's challenging for us to know who we are and to stay centered in our own sovereign self. And
Okay.
so if you think you're an empath, you might want to look at your relationship through the lens of, Am I giving myself away? Am I codependent? Am I trying to please everybody else? Is there a little voice inside of me going, ah,
Yeah,
I'm not listening to
or
it,
dependent on other things, trying to dumb that down, for lack of a better term, substances or abuses of self, and not
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
seriously. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
That's, oh gosh, that's gotta be, the book is so helpful. I mean, when you first pick it up, you're like, this is heavier than that. This is that, you guys, this is a toolkit. First of all, the whole second half of this book is an extreme how to dissect things down, tools and strategies to use, and you gotta go get it. And I get no percentage of Stephanie's book to say that. Bible.
I just get
Okay.
to sit on your lap.
You come sit in my lap while I just brag about your book, and you can pat my back. But seriously, I just want everybody to go out and get it, go through the whole page, the whole beginning part of the book, and realize that you're not crazy. Even if, I mean, you don't have to have all 5 attributes that, it's like just even one piece of it, and peeling it back and diving into those shadows is a lot of energy, a lot of work. We need to hang out with like-minded people. And girl, I mean, I don't even know how to finish this up. Look at the hour. I
I
mean,
know the unspoken subtitle to this book is Life Skills for an Evolving Species.
yes.
So
Yes.
really, whether you identify as empath or not, everything that I offer in this book is good, solid life skills.
Well, and for even the non-empath, because you're either going to know one, need to deal with one, in a relationship with one, or you are one. And so that's what I love about it. So you've got to buy it. Just saying. And I need you to tell people, because everybody, I can hear the emails and see the emails now. Oh my gosh, you were just getting into the subject and then the show is over. I know. It's just 30 minutes today. Gosh. But tell everybody where they can find you. Tell us anything you want to tell us about your Blue Star. It's yours for a second
Yes,
here.
thank you. My website is bluestartemple.org. I currently have a weekly blog, so I've got lots of articles if you want to read more. I am in the middle of a 12-episode podcast, and episode 8 just dropped today, so it's a weekly podcast. So that is a great resource to find out more, to go to these podcasts.
Yes.
I've got a video home study program, I've got workbooks, and I have so many things in development in my head that are coming for the next year, because I really feel that my gift and where spirit is leading me is to create all of these different tools and resources for people on this journey of awakening and discovering themselves as an empath. If you live anywhere near Kansas City or not, and you don't mind traveling, I have a live workshop December 6th through 8th in Kansas City. So that's on my website. So, and I also just want to mention that the book includes 8 really beefy guided meditations.
What more could you want? It's like an encyclopedia. I am so thrilled to have had you, and I feel like I just took one sip having you here. So we're going to have you back.
I love
you
it.
guys, email me with any questions directly at coachpeggy@3wellnesspillars.com. If you'd like me to reach out to Stephanie in any way, I will. And I just want to give you a quick heads up. My December Dash crazy sale. So you have 4 one-on-ones with me virtually. We'll go through any goal that you're working on. $199. I mean, come on, that's about a giveaway. So email me as well and let me know on that. And the holidays are coming up. Take care of yourself. And I am so glad to have had you on the show, Stephanie. We'll talk really soon.
Thank you.
Okay. See you later, guys.
Thank you for listening to Coach Couch and Coffee Radio with me, Coach Peggy Wellms. Did you hear something that made you go, or have an aha moment? I live for those. If not, we will get you next time. I will be back every first and third Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific. The tough love you to becoming smarter, stronger, braver, healthier, and happier. Duh. I will be back with a barrel of positivity, and you never know when a guest might pop in. There is no time for excuses. So don't forget to bring your coffee and an open mind as we talk all things wellness on Coach Couch and Coffee Radio with me, Coach Peggy Wellms. Now go grab a ray of sunshine.